What's up guys, it's Joel here, the OMAD Dad. I'm going to be testing these 3 non-alcoholic beers for you. At the end, I'll give you my recommendation about which one you should choose. Coming at you with a different video. We're outside, it's a beautiful sunny day. Why would I be out here? Well, there's no better place to road test 3 beers. Now you're probably thinking, you can't drink beer, you do OMAD. Well, I'm still in my eating window. I just had lunch and I planned it this way so that I could drink the beer. The second thing is you're probably thinking, why are you drinking beer in the middle of the day? Aren't you looking after 2 kids? One is asleep, the other's playing inside. I can keep my eye on her from here. But I'm not actually drinking beer. What I'm drinking today is non-alcoholic beer. So I picked up 3 non-alcoholic beers from the store to road test. And at the end, I'm going to be giving you my verdict on which one of these I would actually pay my money to drink. So first things first, why would you drink non-alcoholic beer? Well, I guess the first part is obvious. It doesn't have alcohol, which is why I can road test it in the middle of the day while I'm here and my kids are at home. And I've had absolutely no guilt about doing that. The second reason you might want to drink non-alcoholic beer is because we all know that alcohol can contribute to a lot of health problems, particularly overconsumption of alcohol in men. One of those problems can be, it can contribute to your overall obesity, but there are many other diseases you can get from alcoholism. Even if you don't believe you're an alcoholic, more than a few standard drinks a week can actually contribute to a lot of health problems. I'm not going to get on my high horse. If you like to have a drink, that's fine. I myself like to have a drink. I've shared before, while I'm on OMAD, I still try to enjoy the odd beer a couple of times a week maybe, and I do that when I'm in my eating window. When you drink alcohol, you've got to think about the overall calories you're consuming. Alcohol itself doesn't actually contribute any more or less to obesity or fat gain or fat loss, providing it fits into your overall caloric intake. If you're drinking excess alcohol, you're drinking excess calories, therefore it is going to put you in a calorie surplus and still mean that you're going to put on weight. So if you are going to drink alcohol, be mindful that it does contain calories and you want to fit those calories into your daily caloric intake. This is the second point about why you might drink non-alcoholic beer. I don't think there's a problem with drinking alcohol. Like I said, if it fits into your caloric intake, that's fine. But what I find is when you drink alcohol, naturally it lowers your inhibitions. It's a drug, right? It's going to make you intoxicated. And when I'm intoxicated, I tend to be more likely to snack, more likely to venture out from my diet, more likely to do a lot of other stupid things, to be honest. It's not just the time that I'm drinking the alcohol where my inhibition's lowered. Usually I feel terrible the next day, even if I'm not completely hungover. Any kind of mild symptoms post consuming alcohol can put you at a risk of breaking your diet if you're on a diet like I am. The next day, I feel dry in the mouth. I might be craving certain things that I used to have when I would drink that alcohol. So be mindful that although you can fit alcohol into your caloric intake, there are other side effects of even being mildly intoxicated, which is another reason why you might try to choose non-alcoholic alcohol, in this case, non-alcoholic beer. So why wouldn't you consume non-alcoholic beer? There's a lot of people that say, well, what's the point? I mean, beer as a beverage is not exactly nice, let's be honest. I have become accustomed to drinking beer, but when I was a kid, I used to taste my dad's beer and I'd be like, oh, that's disgusting, why would you drink that? And then over time as an adult, your tastes change, or you want to fit into the norms of society, and therefore you take up drinking alcohol or beer. So why would you want to drink beer if there are plenty of other options out there for things you can drink, right? Juice, soft drink, mocktails, plenty of other things that probably taste better than beer. And that's subjective. I mean, some people will tell you that they beer is delicious, and the craft beer connoisseurs of the world are probably watching this going, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I do know what I'm talking about. Most beer, and especially most craft beer, can taste like crap. So yeah, why would you bother drinking it in non-alcoholic form if you don't even like it in alcoholic form? I'll leave you to decide that. The second thing to think about is, although there's no alcohol in these beers, but they still have calories. In some cases, which I'll share with you, they have just as many calories as a regular alcoholic beer. So if you're drinking non-alcoholic beer as part of your lifestyle and diet choice, you still need to be aware that there will be calories in these guys. And if you're intermittent faster like me, these guys will break your fast or extend your eating window. And if you're just counting your calories, you just need to be aware that these things contain calories. All right, so I have only tried one of these beers. I haven't tried them all. I'm gonna give you my fresh, raw taste test on each of the beers. So first up, we'll go with this big fella. Now this is called Haller. I probably butchered that. Haller. It's an imported German beer, an imported non-alcoholic beer. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous marketing if you ask me. This particular beer cost about $2.50 per can. It was one of the few beers I could find at the grocery store that was sold per can, and they are a 500 ml can, so that's like a pint of beer, if you like. It does contain 0.5% alcohol. Interestingly though, the macros on this, 130 calories per can. So drinking this is equivalent to drinking, calorie-wise, most cans of beer will have around about 130 calories. So, German beers, I'm expecting this to taste maybe something like a Heineken. I know that's a Dutch beer, some sort of European wheat beer. Let's go. Feels bad. I don't know why, this feels naughty. Got a good head. Let's have a couple more of those. That's actually better than I was expecting. Certainly tastes like a beer. It's a little drier. Again, not much of a hoppy flavor like a strong hoppy beer, more of a cleaner beer. I would relate this to something like a Pilsner. But actually, yeah, very good. Let me give it the old chug test for college sake, and we'll see how it goes. Bottoms up. Yeah, not too bad. Listen, I'll probably give that 3.5 out of 5. The main reason I'll mark this guy down, as I said before, if you're drinking non-alcoholic beer as part of a diet, 130 calories, I think I could spend that somewhere else. But certainly it was a very pleasant beer to drink. All right. That was number 1. All right, number 2. Now this guy is the Blonde Brew. And forgive me because I live in Canada, so each of these have the French label and the English label. I sometimes forget what I'm reading. This contains, again, less than 5% alcohol. This is actually brewed by President's Choice, which is the grocery store brand beer, if you like, here in Canada. I go to First Choice. President's Choice is their grocery store brand. So these were for 12, a 12 pack in a box, $10 or $9.99 Canadian, which is remarkably cheap. From a macros point of view, they have 40 calories per can. So this is a standard 355 ml can, 130 calories for 500 mils, 40 calories, so, sorry, 1/3 of the calories of this can. Now I have tried this before. Let's give it a whirl. I shook this one up a little, obviously. Yeah, very good. So it is more of a malty flavored beer, a blonde, probably equivalent to something like maybe a Coors Light, something like that. Certainly has that light beer flavor to it. Not overwhelming flavor. Quite enjoyable actually. If I was drinking this as an alcoholic beer, it'd be a really good day drinking beer for like a barbecue, fishing trip, camping trip, that sort of thing. Certainly doesn't taste too bad. Let's give it the old chug test for the boys. All right. The Blonde Brew did not disappoint. It wasn't as this had a sweeter flavor to it. The Blonde Brew more drier, A bit more of a hoppy flavor. I know there's probably not any hops in these, but certainly I would give this 4 out of 5, predominantly because of the lower calorie content, and it did have a less sweet flavor than sort of the German beer. So this would be something that I would drink, as I said, more often. For the final beer today, we're going to be trying this Partake Brewing Pale Ale. Now, I think that's a clever name, Partake, right? I'm still partaking in the party, although I'm drinking no alcohol, or less than 3.3% alcohol. I looked these guys up. This is actually from Toronto, here in Canada. These were $9.99 on special, on sale, and that was for 4 cans, and they're the 355ml cans. What's interesting about these, and what I like about this one, is that they are 10 calories per can. So this is much more diet conscious, and it looks like they put a lot of effort into making them more diet conscious for that point that I made before. What's the point of not drinking alcohol if you're still going to consume the same amount of calories? You're better off drinking a diet soda or a diet soft drink. They do make a variety of other flavors. This is the pale, so it's probably to imitate more of a craft beer, more of a pale ale. I noticed in the store they had a stout, which would be interesting. They had a red. If anyone from Partake Brewing is listening or watching this, reach out to me. I'm happy to road test your other beers. That'd be fine. But let's give this one a taste test, and then we'll do the chug test. Starting to get hot here, so I need to wrap this video up before these beers will get hot, but here we go. So it definitely has more of an ale-y, more of a pale ale flavor. You definitely feel like you're drinking more of a craft beer. These other beers tasted more like a generic big brand beer, like a Coors Light in that case, or perhaps a European beer like a Grolsch or something like that. This definitely tastes more crafty. As far as a pale, it doesn't taste as it doesn't taste like a traditional pale ale, although it does taste more like a pale ale than these other two. I don't mind it. It does come off a little sour in the taste, and some pale ales taste that a little sour, at least they do to me. But certainly more to it in terms of flavor than these other types of beer. I really am loving the 10 calories. Let's give it the chug test, and then I'll give it my rating. I used to be a lot better at that. Yeah, I think it does have a bit of an aftertaste on the palate, and I wouldn't say it's an enjoyable aftertaste, which is strange. I think I would give this, again, a 3.5 out of 5, which might be a bit harsh, and I imagine anybody that likes craft beer would really like this. For me, it would like this as a substitute for craft beer, at least. For me, it just doesn't do it for me. So I still think the President's Choice Blonde is the clear winner for me in terms of flavor. Overall, it has fairly low calories, 10 calories, 40 calories. But in terms of cost, this is, let's see, whereas this guy is about, it's not even right. In terms of cost, this is about 40 cents Canadian a can versus around about $2.50 a can. So for me, the clear front runner, if you're going to go for a non-alcoholic beer, at least out of these three, would be the President's Choice Blonde Brew. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tonight for a future video where I'm going to be road testing 5 low-calorie alcoholic beers. Peace.